It's Virtual NAMM 2021 at Geekazine.com. Continuing coverage of NAMM 2021 Virtual, Jeffrey Powers here. We're here with Sam of RoadieMusic.com and the Roadie. Now, we've talked before. A couple of years ago, you had, I think it was the original Roadie that we did an interview with on Geekazine. But tell everybody who you are, what Roadie is, and what you're going to show off.
Sure. So my name is Sam Force. I'm the VP of Sales and Partnerships for Roadie, and what we're showing off today is the Roadie 3 automatic guitar tuner. This is our latest iteration and most technically advanced version of our Roadie 3 automatic tuner. We have had excellent success over the years with Roadie 1 and Roadie 2. We moved to vibration detection for Roadie 2, and now with Roadie 3, that is even more advanced and sort of wrapped in an even more durable and ergonomic housing with the new body design. We also
it looks nice and big, definitely.
Well, it fits nice in the hand, and the cool thing that you can't maybe see is that it's TP. Here, I can show you with my fingernail. You can kind of dig into it a little bit because it's rubberized on the outside, so it will bounce if it's dropped rather than break open or something like that. So we're expecting this to be used and used well for quite some time. The screen is now a color screen, and my navigation is over here on this side on the D-pad. So you can just sort of go through. Is that in focus? I can't quite tell.
It's internet video, so it's like not settings. Show too well.
All the different cards, the blocks that will tell you where you are. So I'm in my tuner right now. I can go to my acoustic guitar, and then over into my tuning menu, and then go through just a massive list of alternate tunings: drop C, open B, open D, half step down, full step down, and the list goes on. So we're really proud of having over 100 alternate tunings possible on the device. Wow. Room for your entire instrument collection. It's twice as fast and twice as powerful as Roadie 2. So it's really everything that people loved about Roadie 2 in a more durable, more holdable package. And we've also added an excellent, cool feature called vibrating metronome mode. So you can use Roadie 3 as a really powerful vibrating metronome to put in your pocket and buzz along with your jam session to keep you in rhythm rather than having a click track or something like that. So just one other extra feature to keep the Roadie involved in the jam session rather than having it live its whole life in the kit bag after it does its tuning job.
That's perfect.
But yeah, we love it. USB-C rechargeable, and
Let's do this. First of all, is there a difference between electric and acoustic guitar, or just the?
There definitely is. Yeah, no, and even each individual instrument on Roadie is tuned differently. So if you have two electric guitars, they may have subtle differences in how they sound when they're tuned into standard. So you'll make a tuning profile for each individual instrument you have in your collection, and then that will allow Roadie to take special care for that individual instrument's subtle nuances, and it knows kind of what it's going to expect. So I have my acoustic guitar here that I've just called acoustic because it's the only one I have. But if I had a lot of them, I could differentiate them with name and even pictures on the app. We have an awesome app that goes with it. You can use to customize everything, add custom tunings, and this kind of stuff.
And how is there like an app that you start with that brings it in? How do you bring that into the Roadie 3?
Well, Roadie 3 comes shipped with a bunch of tunings already. So there's like 40 plus on there, I think, for instruments that you'll normally find. But to add more and to make your own, you download the Roadie app on Google Play or Apple Store. And from there, you can add your own instruments, take pictures of them and name them, as well as easily add your own custom tunings or temperings. And this is great for really fiddly stuff like a few cents up and a few cents down, and then adding a capo or something like that. So Roadie can handle any level of complexity that you want to throw at it. So even if you're doing A equals 432 rather than A equals 440, you can just change that as a core level feature, and then use all your own alternate tunings from that new A reference, rather than having to have a special alternate tuning with A432 drop C or A432, something else. So it's just a way to more easily flow between the stuff that you may want to explore that you haven't because it just takes a lot of work, or that you may not have the knowledge right in front of you, and so it takes too much time to search it out. You want to get back to playing. So it's a way to keep people, exploring the depth and breadth of music.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. You got the acoustic guitar. Let's go ahead and show people how it works.
So I am not a guitarist, but I at least can tune it.
You play one on the internet.
Standard, yeah. This is my standard tuning, and I think I've already messed up my pegs enough to give you an idea of what this guy does. But I'll go back to my acoustic guitar and into my standard tuning. So I'm on E2, and I just put it on the peg. I can reposition it however I like because Roadie doesn't care where you start from. So I'll just position it so you can see the screen, and then I'll pluck the string, and Roadie immediately starts tuning. So it's listening for the proper note, and then when it found it, it beeped and vibrated and buzzed as well, and flashed as well. So you have 3 different indications that it's time to move to the next note. So I'll move to the next note and put it on there, and then start plucking. Oops, there we go. And you can see Roadie is searching for the center there and finds it. And then I'll move to the next one. So I can do this all quite quickly if I'm trying to just run through the whole thing. And even now, when it's like moving a lot and changing a lot on that string, it does it really quickly. And so you can just go through the entire guitar. May as well.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
We're in a noisy room. You said there was sound and vibration activated. So we're in a noisy room. The band's playing. You need to tune up really quick. How does it determine the notes that you're playing if that's the case?
So it does that. So it actually does not use acoustic detection in this model. Our first Roadie used acoustic detection, and that was wrought with a lot of issues because we had to then use noise cancellation, and we have to wait for that to be normalized before we can send a proper message to Roadie to go do the tuning. So with vibration detection, and now with vibration detection 2.0, we're able to very, very quickly isolate noise from signal. If you look at the graph, the signal from a guitar when you're putting a Roadie against it and plucking it versus the ambient noise is like 10 to 20 times greater. So it's very, very easy for us to see what you're trying to give it in terms of signal versus what it's receiving from external sources in terms of noise.
Okay, so as long as you're not totally vibrating or there's like an earthquake or something like that, you should be good to tune.
Yeah, and actually that's interesting that you'd mentioned that, because one time that we have seen issue is with people that have something on their headstock that's vibrating, like they have a loose screw or something like that, a piece of actual hardware that's clicking on a very microscopic level they don't notice. So they'll have one string that will not do its job, and Roadie will say, wrong string or error. And then sure enough, they'll find a nut on there that wasn't tightened down. They'll tighten down that screw. Once everything is clean and is not vibrating right there, then it has no issue. So as with any mechanical device, it can be fooled, but with proper guitar maintenance and with normal sort of practice with any new tool, it's really, really straightforward.
Okay. So and you got pretty much tuned back up within about a minute or two.
So and you can do that with any tuning. I mean, here we go. You could get that probably even better if you went through again, because we changed some of those strings quite a bit. So the neck tension will have some changes in it, and the strings are rusty and things like that. So people that are going for like studio quality, perfect tuning, go through any tuning twice, because you're going to get a better tuning that second time, and micro adjustments will occur. And as I said, I'm not even proficient enough to really give you a solid demo of like, look at this, I'm going to now play Wonderwall for you. But trust me, it does the job quite well, and it will do it on any guitar, banjo, mandolin, ukulele, acoustic, electric, 6-string, 12-string. It's your one-stop shop for making sure that you're in tune.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the unit a little bit more. Now, you said it connects to an app, so I'm assuming that you're going to get a cord that goes from the USB. Is that USB-C on the unit?
No, it is, but that's just for charging. Everything happens via Bluetooth. So you just, as soon as you turn on the device and turn on the app, they pair instantly. They don't go through the standard Bluetooth pairing of the phone system. We have our own protocol that sort of auto sees your Roadie based on its number of the device number. So it sort of like saves that device number. Anytime it's available on any Bluetooth spectrum, it knows you intend to connect, and it automatically pairs it up. So starting the app and starting the device is all you have to do.
And Bluetooth 4.0, 5.0, what?
Ooh, I'm going to have to check. I think that it is 5.0 based on the new sort of speed and tenacity of the connection, because it is really fast and quick. But gosh, you got me on that. I'm going to have to reconfirm that data point.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll update if we get an update on that. So,
Sure.
And then how fast does it charge?
So you can charge Roadie in a couple hours, and then the charge will last you hundreds and hundreds of tunings. What I love to do when I was demoing Roadie 2 is mention with people on the NAMM floor is that I'd been tuning since the show started and haven't charged the device the entire time. So I'd go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tunings before I'd finally run out, maybe day 3, and have to charge it up. So This device, and also it'll tell you on the screen there, it'll show you the battery indicator, and it'll show a red indicator when it's getting low. So it's not going to hide the fact that you maybe should charge it. And really, it's never really been an issue. That's the greatest part about it, is the battery has never been a problem. Even now that we've been testing with the vibrating metronome, because that's a new feature for Roadie 3, and we wanted to make sure that we could continue to provide a robust experience. We had the fastest speed BPM going possible, and we just left the thing vibrating by itself for hours, and I think it lasted 5-6 hours before it finally died. So, wow. I mean, if anybody is playing that tempo for 6 hours, we want to be the first to say, take a break.
Well, they'd have to stop to tune every now and then, because your strings
are going to be shredded.
You'd probably break a string or two at that point. So, so when you do the tempos, you could do it from the unit, but you can also do it from the app, correct?
Sure. Yeah, you can save different tempos that you want to have on there. So if you know you're going to use a certain odd tempo that you want to have set up, you can just move to that tempo real easily. I can show you.
Can you do a set list as well?
Yeah, you can. Well, I don't know if we have it set up so it's like set list mode, but obviously you could just have various ones made up for your set list and then cycle through them. And the same with tunings. Like you can have a one guitar that has the tunings that you're going to use for that guitar on that set, and then have a different instrument with different tuning set up for it, because you're going to change to that guitar at some point in the set. So yeah, and then also the settings are instrument specific. So if you change your A reference while you're on your electric Fender, you're not going to pick up your Martin and have your A reference be all wonky. It's going to be based on the instrument.
One more thing I did notice, and that is the peg hole can fit different types of tuning pegs.
Yeah, this is. Let's see if I can get this. This is now the third generation. You'll never be able to get the real subtlety of it, but basically the cool part, you kind of can right there. There's a bunch of tiny little steps down, and the size and nature of all of these has been iterated on more than any physical object that I think we've ever done. We have bags and bags and bags of different versions of it. And the reason is because there's just so many different headstocks, and we still can't tune all of them. If you're the guy out there with a skull-shaped headstock and it's just totally round, you got me. There's still some out there that we can't do, but things like dice and the real thin ones like basses, like even though this is not made for bass, and I should mention that Roadie 3 doesn't do bass guitars. We still have Roadie bass as our very best solution for that, just because it's even more robust in terms of torque, and it's much larger. The form factor actually allows that leverage on a bass string to be even more easily applied. So we may in the future do another revision of Roadie bass and put it in some form factor like this. We don't currently have plans to, because Roadie bass is already so good at what it does.
Yeah. And that's the same. I bet you there's got to be other instruments that have headstock in different sizes that the Roadie will work with, but it won't. It's just it's a physics thing sometimes. So
right. Well, I mean, we used to, for instance, have to use an adapter for banjos and some mandolins because they were just so darn small that they would fit in the bottom socket and rotate. So in here we have another additional layer of steps to account for that, and so even the smaller of the banjo and the mandolin pegs that we were testing worked fine. And I've sent it out to a few folks that play mandolin and had zero problem. So things like that we only can find out via iteration. We've been busily doing that and busily combing the sort of like data sets for how we may be able to add intrinsic value to something like Roadie 3 and have it not feel like, oh, it's Roadie 2.5 and they just kind of wanted to do something new. This is much more than that. And we really want people to know that this is an inherently new piece of hardware that they will really love.
Well, Roadie is a good, solid product. So, and from what I've done with the first one, it's I can't wait to see how this Roadie 3 really works. You just released it, and you had a very successful Christmas launch, which is very odd for a lot of people to have, and you got them on time. Talk a little bit about that. How'd that work for you?
Yeah, so launching Roadie 3 as a Christmas delivery for our Kickstarter campaign was something that we did almost out of necessity because we were just simply working as quickly as we could to get it done. We wanted to give our backers something special and get everything in time for Christmas. And I'll be the first to admit that we were not perfect with that. There's backers in Canada that are only not just receiving them just because with the COVID-19 crisis and with overall shipping being so overburdened, that was just a massive hardship. And we apologize for anybody that received their unit after Christmas. It was our grave intention to do that for you. But it's just one of those things where when you're already trying to do hardware right and make sure that nothing gets compromised in the process, that additional thing to balance is a tough one. So I guess I just counsel hardware companies to see that as not necessarily an overarching good, but just as something else that you need to manage as part of your launch. It's potentially hard.
So let's talk price and availability.
Sure. Roadie 3 is going to be available anywhere that musical instruments are sold for $129. If you don't find it in whatever shop you are looking in, you should get a hold of me and I'll make sure that they know that it's out there, because I think the only barrier is just people knowing that we are selling what we're selling and that it can do what it can do. It's one of those things where it almost seems like it's too good to be true. Like they say, I'm going to automatically tune your guitar. It doesn't maybe seem like it will work as well as you hope it would. And we can pretty confidently say that Roadie 3 does indeed deliver on that. And it can help you get into tune very, very quickly, get back to playing music, and even explore more of the musical landscape than you may thought you could have.
And definitely. And the Roadie bass?
Roadie bass is at $149, and same thing, available everywhere. It will tune everything under the sun, so not just bass guitars, but banjos, mandolins, ukuleles, you name it. It's the one Roadie to tune them all. So yeah, if that's the thing, if you also play bass guitar or stand-up bass, Roadie bass is going to be your best tool.
Cool. And the Roadie drum? I'm kidding.
Roadie drum, you joke, but we actually have had some work done on that in the shop. It's tough. It's a mechanically very difficult challenge to do that well, and also to gather enough data from the correct points on the drum head to be sure that we're able to deliver something that is, again, studio quality perfect, because we're not going to come with Roadie drum that's great and Roadie 3 that's fantastic. Everything has to be fantastic. So if and when we release Roadie drum, it will be after many, many years and even more iterations than the tuning head of hardware. We're really not saying no. We're just saying not yet.
That's a tough nut to crack sometimes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, where do people, roadiemusic.com, correct? Is that
roadiemusic.com for any questions that you may have about the product. And we really do appreciate any eyeballs you can give it, because like I said, we just want people to know that we're out there, but we want people to kind of discover us rather than have it slammed down your throat. So hopefully you have us as a diamond in the rough rather than clogging up your feed or something.
Exactly. So, all right, Roadie Music, the Roadie 3, awesome. Sam, thank you very much. You have a great NAMM.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot for watching this video by Geekazine. If you're over on geekazine.com or youtube.com/Geekazine, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, you guys geek out and take care.